How narcissists react to your silence. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a power within you, a power so profound and unshakable that it can change the way you navigate your relationships, your challenges in your life. Today, I want to talk about silence, not the silence of fear or surrender, but the silence of strength and self-worth. This silence is your armor, your shield, and your declaration of independence. Now, let's talk about a particular type of person, a narcissist. They thrive on control, feed off attention, and are masters of manipulation. But here's the truth: they don't want you to know your silence is their kryptonite. It disrupts their script, undermines their power, and forces them to confront the one thing they can't handle: your autonomy. When you choose silence, you're not just withholding words, you're reclaiming your narrative. You're saying, I am no longer a puppet to your game. I am free. Here's how a narcissist reacts when you embrace your silence. They feel the loss of control. A narcissist's power lies in their ability to provoke and manipulate. Your silence breaks that cycle. It sends a clear message: they no longer have access to your energy, your emotions, or your time. And let me tell you, nothing terrifies them more than losing control over someone they thought they owned. They scramble for attention. Silence leaves a void, and a narcissist hates emptiness. They may try to provoke you, charm you, or guilt trip you into breaking your silence. But remember, their desperation is proof of your power. They turn inward, but not for reflection. A narcissist rarely self-reflects in a healthy way. Instead, they might become frustrated, angry, or vindictive. That's not your burden to bear. Their reaction is a reflection of their own insecurities, not your worth. They expose their true colors. Silence has a way of revealing who people really are. A narcissist might lash out, gaslight, or attempt to smear your name, but their behavior only underscores why your silence is necessary. Now, why does this matter? Because your silence is not just about dealing with the narcissist, it's about honoring yourself. It's about creating space for peace, growth, and love. You don't owe anyone your voice, your energy, or your soul. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to say nothing at all. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the acknowledgement that your energy is too precious to waste on someone who doesn't value it. When you choose silence, you're choosing you. You're stepping into your power and showing the world that you will not be defined by someone else's chaos. So today I challenge you: embrace the silence that heals, empowers, and elevates. Let it be your guide, let it be your strength, and let it remind you of this unshakable truth: you are enough just as you are. How narcissists react to your silence. Silence disrupts their control. By refusing to engage, you take back your power and break their manipulative cycle. It forces their desperation. A narcissist will try various tactics to regain your attention, revealing their dependency on you. It exposes their insecurities. Your silence makes them confront their own vulnerabilities, which they often mask with anger or frustration. It reveals their true character. Their reaction to your silence often confirms why you needed to disengage in the first place. Silence is a declaration of self-worth. It's a way of saying, I value my peace over your drama. It creates space for healing. Stepping away from toxic interactions allows you to focus on your growth and well-being. Silence is your ultimate power move. It's a strategic choice that prioritizes your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Silence disrupts their control. Control is the lifeblood of a narcissist. They thrive on knowing they can twist, pull, and manipulate you like a puppet on a string. But what happens when the puppet cuts its strings? What happens when you step off their stage and refuse to play the role they've written for you? You disrupt everything. When you choose silence, you send a powerful message: you no longer control the narrative here. This isn't just a small act of defiance, it's a seismic shift in the dynamic. They depend on your reactions to validate their actions, to fuel their ego. Silence denies them that fuel. Think about it. Every time you engage in their drama, every time you defend yourself or explain your actions, you're feeding their need for dominance. But silence is like taking the oxygen out of the room. It's saying, I no longer live by your rules. It's not just about withholding words, it's about reclaiming your energy. It's about deciding that your peace is worth more than their chaos. And when you choose that peace, you break their grip on your emotions. A narcissist thrives on predictability. They want to know they can push a button and get a reaction. Your silence throws them off balance. It's like pulling the rug out from under someone who thought they stood on solid ground. They don't know how to handle it. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games. This is about stepping into your power. This is about deciding that you are no longer available for manipulation. It's about understanding that you don't have to explain, justify, or react. When you choose silence, you're not just disrupting their control, you're rewriting the rules of engagement. You're showing them and yourself that you are the one in charge of your life. And let's not underestimate the impact of this decision. It's not just about what you're taking away from them, it's about what you're giving to yourself. You're giving yourself permission to live free from their influence. This isn't easy. They'll push, provoke, and try to bait you back into their game. But remember this, every time you choose silence, you're building a stronger foundation for yourself. You're creating a life that doesn't revolve around their needs or demands. You might feel the urge to break your silence, to explain your reasons, or to defend your choice. But don't. Silence speaks louder than words ever could. It says, I am untouchable. I am free. And here's the beauty of it. The more you practice the silence, the stronger you become. It's not about suppressing your voice. It's about choosing when and how to use it. Silence is not passive, it's powerful. It's active resistance. It's a declaration of independence. And when you wield it wisely, it becomes your greatest tool for reclaiming your life. So today, decide that their control ends here. Decide that your silence will be the line they cannot cross. Because the moment you do, you'll realize that the power was never theirs, it was always yours. It forces their desperation. Silence creates a vacuum, a void that a narcissist can't stand. They thrive on your engagement, your reactions, your attention. When you go silent, you take all of that away. Suddenly, they're left scrambling. They feel exposed, vulnerable, and desperate. Desperation looks different depending on the person. Some narcissists will try to charm you back into their world. They'll shower you with compliments, promises, and apologies. But don't be fooled. This isn't a change of heart. It's a strategy to pull you back into their web. Others will go to the opposite extreme. They'll lash out, criticize, and try to provoke you. Why? Because they're testing the boundaries of your silence. They want to see if they can still control you, even when you've chosen to disengage. And then there are those who will play the victim. They'll tell anyone who will listen how cruel, unfeeling, or unfair you've been. This is their way of regaining the attention they've lost. But here's the thing, none of this is about you. It's about their inability to handle the loss of control. Your silence is a mirror reflecting their desperation back to them. It forces them to confront the emptiness they've been trying to fill with your energy. And let me tell you, that's not a confrontation they're ready for. They might ramp up their efforts to get a response from you. They might send messages, make calls, or even show up unannounced. But every time you hold your ground, you're sending a message they can't ignore. You are no longer their supply. Desperation can look like persistence, but don't mistake it for care. This isn't about love or concern. It's about their need to regain what they've lost. And what they've lost is access to you. The beauty of your silence is that it creates clarity. It shows you just how much of their behavior was about them, not you. It reveals the extent of their dependency on your reactions, your emotions, your attention. And here's the empowering part. Their desperation is proof of your strength. It's a testament to the power you hold when you choose to step away. It shows that your silence is more impactful than any argument, explanation, or justification could ever be. But let's be real, it's not easy to face their desperation. It can be tempting to respond, to explain, to try to fix the situation. Resist that urge. Remember, their reaction is not your responsibility. Every time you stay silent, you're reinforcing your boundaries. You're showing them that their tactics no longer work on you. You're teaching them and yourself that your peace is non-negotiable. Desperation might make them louder, but don't let it shake you. Your silence is your sanctuary. It's where you find strength, clarity, and freedom. And the more you hold your silence, the more their desperation will fade. Because eventually they'll realize that you've built a wall they can't climb. A wall made of self-respect, resilience, and unwavering peace. It exposes their insecurities. Silence is like a spotlight, shining directly on a narcissist's deepest insecurities. They thrive on control and attention because deep down they fear they're not enough. When you go silent, you strip away their facade and force them to confront their own inadequacies. A narcissist spends their life building a mask of polished, untouchable persona. They want to appear confident, charming, and invincible. But beneath that mask is a fragile ego that's terrified of being exposed. Your silence doesn't just ignore their mask, it tears it apart. When you don't react to their provocations, it's like pulling the rug out from under their entire identity. They rely on your reactions to validate their false sense of superiority. Without it, they're left with nothing but their insecurity staring back at them. Insecurity is an uncomfortable mirror. A narcissist avoids it at all costs by keeping the focus on you. They project their flaws, fears, and failures onto others. But silence flips the script. Suddenly, they can't project, they're forced to look inward. This inward gaze is not a place they want to go. It's dark, uncomfortable, and filled with truths they've been running from. They'll do anything to escape it, lash out, manipulate, or even retreat. But no matter how they react, your silence stands firm, unyielding. This is where their frustration boils over. They might accuse you of being cruel, unfeeling, or indifferent. But these accusations are not about you. They're a reflection of their own fear of irrelevance. Remember, silence doesn't just deprive them of your energy, it forces them to confront their own lack of self-worth. It's not a weapon, it's a mirror. And what they see in that mirror is their true self, stripped of the validation they depend on. But let's be clear, this isn't your battle to fight. Their insecurities are not your responsibility. Your silence is not an attack, it's a boundary. It's a declaration that their issues will no longer invade your peace. You might feel the urge to explain yourself, to justify your silence. Resist that urge. Explanations only feed their need for attention. Silence is self-explanatory. It says, I will not engage in your chaos. And here's the power of that choice. It frees you. It releases you from the cycle of trying to fix, appease, or accommodate their insecurities. It allows you to focus on your own growth, your own healing, your own life. The beauty of silence is that it speaks volumes without uttering a word. It says, your insecurities are not my burden to carry. It reminds you and them that you are not responsible for their self-image. As they wrestle with their insecurities, you find strength in your silence. You realize that their reaction is not a reflection of your worth, but of their own unresolved issues. So hold on to your silence. Let it be the boundary that protects your peace. Let it be the mirror that reflects their insecurities back to them. And let it remind you that you are not defined by their chaos. It reveals their true character. Silence has a unique way of pulling back the curtain. When you stop engaging, stop feeding the drama, and step into the stillness, something remarkable happens. People show you who they truly are. And for a narcissist, this revelation can be both shocking and illuminating. A narcissist thrives on maintaining control, but when you go silent, they lose their script. Suddenly, they're forced to react without the predictable patterns they've come to rely on. This is when their true character surfaces raw and unfiltered. Some may lash out in anger, desperate to provoke you into breaking your silence. Others might turn to manipulation, crafting elaborate stories to guilt trip or shame you into responding. Either way, their reaction is a reflection of their internal turmoil, not your actions. This is where the mask slips. The charming, confident facade they've carefully constructed begins to crack, revealing the insecurity and fear underneath. Your silence doesn't just frustrate them, it exposes the reality they work so hard to hide. It's important to recognize that their true character isn't something you can change or fix. Silence is not a tool for transformation, it's a boundary. It's about stepping back and allowing them to reveal who they are without your interference. The more you resist the urge to engage, the more their actions speak for themselves. They may resort to extreme tactics, spreading rumors, creating drama, or playing the victim. But every action they take only reinforces why your silence is necessary. Think about this, a person's true nature is revealed not in how they treat you when things are going their way, but in how they respond when you set boundaries. Silence is the ultimate boundary, and their reaction to it is the ultimate truth teller. You might feel tempted to explain your silence to defend your choice. Remember, silence is its own explanation. It says, I see you for who you are, and I choose not to engage. As their true character emerges, you gain clarity. You start to see their patterns, their motivations, and their limitations. And with that clarity comes freedom, the freedom to release yourself from the cycle of manipulation and control. And this isn't about judgment, it's about discernment. It's about recognizing what serves your growth and what holds you back. The reaction to your silence is a window into their world, and it's up to you to decide how much of that world you allow into your life. Silence doesn't just reveal their character, it strengthens yours. It teaches you patience, resilience, and the power of standing firm in your truth. It reminds you that you don't need to fight every battle or respond to every provocation. The beauty of this process is that it's transformative. By stepping back and allowing them to reveal themselves, you reclaim your energy and focus. You shift your attention from their chaos to your peace, from their demands to your needs. And as their true character comes to light, you gain something invaluable, the knowledge that you are no longer bound by their narrative. You are free to write your own story, to define your own path, to live on your own terms. So let their true character unfold. Stand firm in your silence. And know that every moment of stillness is a step toward clarity, strength, and freedom. Silence is a declaration of self-worth. Silence is one of the most powerful declarations you can make. It's a statement that says, I am worth more than this chaos. I am worth more than this drama. I am worth more than this manipulation. Choosing silence is not about weakness or avoidance. It's about self-respect and self-preservation. When you choose silence, you're not retreating, you're reclaiming. You're reclaiming your energy, your time, and your sense of peace. You're sending a message to yourself and the world that your boundaries matter and that your worth is not up for negotiation. A narcissist thrives on breaking down your sense of self-worth. They want you to doubt yourself, question your value, and feel like you need their approval. But your silence shatters that illusion. It's a way of saying, I don't need your validation. I validate myself. Think about it. Every time you engage with their manipulation, you're giving them power over your emotions. But when you choose silence, you're taking that power back. You're showing them and yourself that you are in control of your own life. Silence is not about turning your back on the world. It's about turning toward yourself. It's about prioritizing your needs, your feelings, and your growth over their demands. And that is one of the most empowering things you can do. This doesn't mean the decision is easy. Silence can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to defending yourself or explaining your actions. But discomfort is often a sign of growth. Choosing silence is choosing to grow into the person you're meant to be: strong, self-assured, and unshakable. A narcissist may try to frame your silence as selfish or cruel. They might accuse you of being indifferent or uncaring. But remember, their opinion of your silence is irrelevant. Your silence is not about them, it's about you. This shift is transformative. It changes the way you see yourself and the way others see you. When you carry yourself with self-respect, people notice. They see your strength, your confidence, and your unwavering sense of worth. But most importantly, you see it too. You start to realize that you don't need anyone's permission to stand up for yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to live the life you deserve. Silence teaches you to listen to your heart, your intuition, and your inner voice. It reminds you that you are enough just as you are, without needing to prove or explain yourself to anyone. This isn't about shutting down or closing off. It's about opening up to the parts of yourself that you've been neglecting. It's about creating space for your own needs, dreams, and aspirations to flourish. Every moment of silence is an investment in your self-worth. It's a reminder that you are not defined by someone else's opinions or actions. You are defined by your own choices, and choosing silence is one of the most empowering choices you can make. So let your silence speak volumes. Let it declare your worth to the world. And let it remind you every day that you are deserving of respect, love, and peace, starting with yourself. It creates space for healing. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of something deeper: space. Space to breathe, to think, and most importantly, to heal. When you go silent, you create a sanctuary for yourself, a place where you can begin to repair the parts of you that were hurt, bruised, or broken by the narcissist's influence. Healing doesn't happen in chaos. It doesn't happen when you're constantly defending yourself or caught in the web of someone else's manipulation. Healing needs stillness, and that's what silence provides. It's a retreat into yourself, away from the distractions and distortions of their world. At first, the silence might feel uncomfortable. You might find yourself grappling with emotions you've been suppressing: pain, anger, sadness, even guilt. But these emotions are not your enemies, they are your guides. They show you where the wounds are, where the work needs to be done. When you're no longer pouring your energy into reacting to the narcissist, that energy becomes available for something far more important to you. You can redirect it towards self-care, self-discovery, and self-love. You can use it to rebuild your confidence, your strength, and your sense of self. Healing in silence is not about ignoring what happened. It's about confronting it on your terms without the noise of their excuses, justifications, or accusations. It's about acknowledging the pain but refusing to let it define you. In this space of silence, you can reconnect with who you are. You can remember the dreams, values, and passions that may have been overshadowed by their demands. You can rediscover your voice, not to defend yourself to them, but to express your truth to yourself and the world. Silence is a form of self-compassion. It's giving yourself permission to step back, to rest, and to heal. It's understanding that you are worthy of peace and that you don't need to justify your need for it to anyone. As you heal, you begin to see the situation more clearly. The fog of manipulation lifts, and you start to understand the patterns, the dynamics, and the ways in which you were drawn into their world. This clarity is empowering because it helps you make different choices moving forward. Healing also means letting go not of accountability or justice, but of the emotional baggage that keeps you tied to the past. Silence helps you cut those ties. It's a way of saying, I release this. I am no longer bound by this pain. This process takes time, and that's okay. Healing is not a race, it's a journey. And every moment you spend in silence is a step toward reclaiming your wholeness. In the stillness, you'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll realize that you're not just surviving, you're growing, transforming, and becoming. And that transformation is something no one can take away from you. Silence doesn't just create space for healing, it protects it. It becomes a boundary that says, this is my time, this is my journey. I will not let anyone disrupt it. And as you heal, you'll notice something remarkable. The silence that once felt heavy becomes light. It shifts from being an act of resistance to an act of love for yourself, your future, and the life you are building. So embrace the silence. Let it be the cocoon where your transformation begins. Let it be the sanctuary where your healing unfolds. And know that every moment of stillness brings you closer to the strength, peace, and freedom you deserve. Silence is the ultimate power move. Power isn't always about what you say or do. Sometimes it's about what you choose not to say and not to do. Silence, when used intentionally, is the ultimate power move. It's a statement of strength, control, and mastery over your emotions. A narcissist thrives on chaos. They want to draw you into their games, their drama, their constant need for validation. They expect you to react, to explain, to defend. Your silence breaks that expectation. It disrupts their rhythm and throws them completely off balance. In the face of silence, they're left with nothing to latch onto. They can't twist your words if you don't give them any. They can't manipulate your emotions if you don't engage. Silence is like a wall. They can't climb a boundary they cannot breach. But let's be clear, silence is not passive. It's active, deliberate, and intentional. It's a choice you make to protect your energy, to stand in your power, and to refuse to play their game. It's not about avoidance, it's about taking control. When you choose silence, you're choosing yourself. You're saying, I value my peace more than your chaos. I value my energy more than your manipulation, and that is a profoundly powerful decision. Silence also shifts the dynamic. It forces the narcissist to face the one thing they fear most, their own irrelevance. Without your engagement, their power begins to fade. They realize they can no longer control you, and that realization is devastating to them. You may wonder if silence is enough, if it's too simple to be so effective. But simplicity is often the greatest strength. Silence doesn't just stop the cycle of manipulation, it flips the script. It puts you in control of the narrative. This doesn't mean the narcissist will give up easily. They may try harder to provoke you, to draw you back in. But every time you choose silence, you reinforce your boundaries. You show them and yourself that you are unshakable. The beauty of silence is that it doesn't require explanation. It's self-explanatory. It says, I am done engaging. I am done defending. I am done defending. I am done justifying. It's a statement that cannot be argued with, manipulated, or distorted. Silence also creates space for reflection, not just for you, but for the narcissist as well. It forces them to sit with their own actions and consequences. While they may not admit it, your silence is a mirror that shows them the truth about their behavior.